All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a math problem that, let's be honest, trips a lot of us up, sharing ratios. But what if I told you there's one simple method that can solve pretty much any of them? Let's dive in.
You ever been there? Arguing with a friend over how to split the last slice of pizza, or maybe how to divide up the good loot in a video game? Yeah, that whole feeling of making sure things are fair, that's exactly what ratios are all about.
So what even is a ratio really? Well, think of it this way. It's just a recipe for sharing stuff fairly. If you see a ratio like 3 to 2, it literally just means for every 3 parts one person gets, the other person gets 2 parts. It's the secret code for fair sharing.
Okay, so to crack these problems, we're going to use this really cool, super powerful technique. I like to call it the magic box method. And trust me, it works almost every single time.
It's really just 3 simple steps. That's it. First, you're going to add the numbers in the ratio to find the total number of parts, or, as we'll call them, boxes. Second, you take the total amount you're sharing and divide it by that number of boxes. That tells you how much is in one box. And finally, you just multiply that value by each person's share. Let's try it out.
All right, let's put this into practice. Here's our first problem, a real classic. Will and Ollie are sharing 80 pounds in a 3 to 2 ratio. So the big question is, how much does each of them actually get? Okay, let's fire up our method. Step 1, add the parts of the ratio together. So 3 plus 2, that gives us 5 total boxes, right? Now for step 2, find the value of just one of those boxes. We take the total amount, the 80 pounds, and divide it by our 5 boxes, and that gives us 16 pounds per box. That number, 16, that's the key to the whole thing.
And for our final step, we just multiply. Will gets 3 boxes, so that's 3 times 16 pounds, which is 48 pounds. Ollie gets 2 boxes, so that's 2 times 16 pounds, which is 32. And check this out. If you add 48 and 32 together, what do you get? 80. Boom. It works perfectly.
Okay, easy enough, right? That's kind of the level 1 version. But what happens when the problem is worded a little differently? Let's look at another type, and you're going to see how the exact same magic box method still saves the day.
So, take a look here. This really shows the 2 main flavors of these ratio problems. On the left, that's the one we just did, where they give you the total amount to share. But look at the one on the right. Here, they don't give you the total. No, instead they tell you the difference between what the 2 people get.
So here it is, our next challenge. Carly and James are sharing some money in a 5 to 3 ratio. We have no idea what the total is, but we know this. Carly gets 70 pounds more than James. So how much does James get?
So how do we handle this? The trick is to look at the difference right there in the ratio itself. Carly has 5 parts, James has 3 parts. What's the difference between 5 and 3? It's 2. It's those 2 extra boxes that Carly has. That's where the extra money comes from.
And that, right there, is our aha moment. If those 2 extra boxes are worth that 70 pounds, we can figure out what a single box is worth just by dividing. So 70 divided by 2 gives us 35. That means every single one of those boxes in this problem is worth 35 pounds.
And now the rest is easy. The question asks how much James gets. Well, he has 3 boxes, right? So we multiply 3 by the value of 1 box, which is 35 pounds. And that gives us 105 pounds. See? The same method works, just with a clever little twist.
All right, you ready to level up? Let's tackle the final boss of ratio problems. These look super intimidating because they have 2 steps, but you'll see it's really just about using our box method twice.
Okay, let's break this down. First, we've got Harry and Gary. They have 300 stickers in total, and they're shared in a 7 to 3 ratio. This is the before situation. We need to solve this part first, just like we did with our very first problem.
So let's run the numbers real quick. 7 plus 3 is 10 total parts, or boxes. They have 300 stickers in total, so we divide 300 by 10, which means each box is worth 30 stickers. So before anything changes, Harry has 7 times 30, which is 210 stickers, and Gary has 90. Simple.
Now for part 2 of the puzzle. The problem says Harry gives Gary some of his stickers. Now the total number of stickers, that's still 300. But the ratio between them has changed. The new ratio is 8 to 7.
So what do? We just run our box method all over again. The new ratio is 8 to 7.
So 8 plus 7 gives us 15 total parts now. The total is still 300 stickers. 300 divided by 15 means each part is now worth 20 stickers. Harry now has 8 parts, so 8 times 20, that's 160 stickers.
Okay, we're almost there. The question was, how many stickers did Harry give away? All we have to do is compare his sticker count from before the swap and after. He started with 210 stickers, and he ended up with 160.
And the final answer? It's just the difference between where he started and where he ended up. 210 minus 160 is 50. Harry gave away 50 stickers. See? That problem looks scary, but by breaking into 2 simple steps, it was a piece of cake.
And there you have it. It doesn't matter if you're given the total amount or the difference between the shares, or even if it's a 2-step puzzle. You've seen how this box method gives you a clear path to the solution every single time.
So let's do a super quick recap of your new ratio superpower. First, add the ratio parts to figure out your total number of boxes. Second, use what you know. Is it the total or the difference to find the value of just one box? And third, multiply that out to get your final answer. It's really that simple.
You know, you've now got this awesome tool for figuring out fairness, not just on a math test, but like in the real world. So the real question is, what will you use it to figure out next? Thanks for tuning in.